now in your life today, obviously you learnt how to be a tough cookie.
Temporarily, yeah.
Do you find yourself feeling vulnerable?
I was thinking about this. I woke up this morning and said to my partner, there were 3 things I told you the other day that scared me more than anything. What were they? Because I can't remember. And I realised they were heroin. I mean, just the experience of being on heroin is so frightening. And then just a few years ago, I learned how to drive. I had never learned how to drive because I live in the inner city, you know, I'd never been a big thing. But I learned to drive at the age of, 39 or something. And that was absolutely terrifying. And then the other thing was giving birth, which was, I was very prepared for it, and I thought, I'm brave. I said to people, I've got off heroin, how hard can this be? You know, as I was like, you know, preparing for labour, and I'm like, I'm sure I'm tough. I thought I'll draw on that toughness. And I was just beside myself with fear. I had a very long and difficult labour, and there was a point at which I just thought I could just disappear into this fearfulness.
Yeah. I think a lot of women would actually relate to that.
Yeah, with all the best preparation in the world.
But you cannot prepare.
No, absolutely. And I was really taken aback. I could still be that frightened of anything, even though I knew everything was fine, everything was healthy and safe, and driving, you know, as well, you know.
Yeah.
So I'm frightened. I'm deeply anxious and frightened by kind of haphazard accidents. I try not to read too much of the news these days. Now I've got a baby, because I was just getting really worked up about, you know, random catastrophes.
Yeah.
But I don't feel vulnerable, no, and not in general. Like, I went to Naples when I was getting off drugs, and I mean, I was an idiot. I walked right around that sketchy area near the station in the middle of the night, and it's dangerous in the day, in the middle of the afternoon. And I was around it, but yeah, it's very, very dodgy. And I was sauntering around there, like in the middle of the night, just going, I am one with the people of the street. I completely can handle this scene. I'm fine in my long leather coat and, you know, and my don't mess with me look on my face and my big boots. But of course, what an idiot! I could have been stabbed.
Yeah.
But I do feel pretty like I've seen myself through things, and I think I can have a lot of faith in myself that I can cope.
You can handle a lot.
Yeah, and you know, more and more as you go through life, that's what you always find. There's the things that you thought were going to take you down. You know, you're actually right.
It's one of those things I think you learn as you go through life, and I see so much of what holds people back is they underestimate how much they can handle. They think, oh, I couldn't handle that. You know, having four kids, I couldn't handle that moving around. I mean, for me, you know, I couldn't be moving around. I couldn't handle that. And, you know, the fact is, when you're faced with something, you just get on and handle it, don't you? Whether it's a difficult labour or it's whatever it is. So,
that's right.
But for you, because you've come through so much and you've handled so much, it must have ultimately grown your confidence in your ability to handle a lot.
Well, things that are in my control. So I was very... I was hugely shy when I was in high school and even at uni, shy, just a little peep. And when I became a writer, I suddenly had to do lots of public speaking. I had to go off to writers' festivals and do addresses to, you know, auditoriums full of people, which obviously was just, but the very first one I did, I was actually heartened because there was a very experienced writer on a panel with me, and in the green room beforehand, it was well named because he was green. He was green with terror. I'd never seen anyone be that colour. And I thought, well, he's so much more frightened than I am. And off I went, and I found out I'm quite good at it. You know, and it's fine. And now I sally out and I just go in and out and think, they want to like me. You know, no one's sitting there hating me. I've had some horrible reviews on blogs of people who did hate me, but even they probably wanted to like me in the first place. And you just think, oh, what does it matter? You know, like, they can't really touch me.
Yeah.
I always go into the toilet before I do a gig. I had a taxi driver on who took me to my very first one, and he said, do this little, you know, hand, you know, heart protecting thing. And I'm not at all, you know, gaudy or spiritual at all, but it's more like I just draw the little thing over. And I make myself very open. You know, I'm fine about that because I think they're not ever really going to be able to hurt me.
Yeah,
it's fine.
Yeah,
well,
and
I have no idea what you're capable of.
That allows you. It's interesting when you said when you were in your teens and going off to uni, you were scared of everything, and you know, some people are so afraid of so many things they don't know what to be most afraid of. And there's things that we really should be afraid of. And there's things like walking around Naples train station at midnight when you really could get stabbed. And then there's things we really don't need to be afraid of. But sometimes we can't discern which fears are serving us and which fears are really just getting in the way of us doing what we should do. So
yeah, well, look, getting in the car, honestly, for the first year of driving, every single time I left the house, I said to my little cat, this before I had a baby, I'd say, Mummy's going out now and she hopes she'll be back, because I really went out every single time thinking I'm going to die. But I was like, I have to get in that car. I have to do it. I can't just not get in it. I've bought the thing now. So
damn, I bought the car.
I do, you know, and I bang around, and I'm terrified of car crashes and so on. But this is what we all do. We all get in the car and pretend, and hope it's going to be fine.
Well, they say we're more likely actually to die in a car accident than we are, on a plane or, parachuting or something.
Yeah. But then the other day I was interviewing a paramedic, and I was telling her something about my terrors. And she said, to be honest, one thing that we don't ever really get good at as paramedics is car crashes, because there aren't very many of them anymore. And in fact, very few fatalities relatively. So
that's interesting.
It's actually better. The cars are safe, everything.
That's
so
a good point.
I went, oh, thank you. I'm sorry.
Stop stressing it now.
Yes, that's right. So I felt much better at that. Yeah, a bit of perspective is good.
Kate, I just want to finish by asking you, if you, could go back and whisper a few words of wisdom into the ears of the 17-year-old Kate who was going off to uni. This is before you ever, got yourself into drugs and everything else that followed. What would you tell that younger version of you?
Oh my goodness. Well, if it was just a version of me that was just anxious about what do people think, and is my bum big, and am I ever going to get that essay done, and all that kind of stuff, I'd just say, look, it doesn't matter. All the things that seem so big at that time, they all even out. But I guess if I was speaking to the one who was about to go into those dark streets, I think I'd have to say, have faith in yourself. And I know it's such a cliche, it's a very boring thing to say, but that is really the heart of it, that there's something in you that you can't ever lose. I always thought of it as having like holding my own hand, sort of, and I thought you'll always have yourself for company.
And yourself.
Yeah, just that's the thing, I suppose. It's not very original.
It's interesting that thing, it's yourself, as though there's me and then there's myself.
Yeah. I'm a little bit, I still go to therapy sometimes. I'm still working it all out. Yeah, but you just, I don't know. Oh, the other thing is, I suppose most of all is that we always surprise ourselves. This is something I do really find amazing, is that we always do surprise ourselves. So you just don't know what a bitch you can be until you get there, and you don't know what a very dignified person you can be, and you don't know what you can do. It turns out I'm a great reverse parker. I had no idea I'd be fantastic at this. I just have natural talent.
Yeah. But I think, just to your point, we don't know what a bitch we could be, or how noble we could be. I think there's a bit of everything in all of us. Every one of us could be a bitch. Every one of us could lie. Every one of us has the capacity or the potential in us to steal. We just might never be in that situation where we go, okay, I've got to do this. Or I want to do this. I choose to do this. But I think... and I think that's just it. I mean, your journey was one where you discovered that you could do a lot of things you wouldn't have thought you would do.
Never.
And I guess it'd stop you from ever being too righteous, wouldn't it?
Oh, yeah. Well, being a writer also makes you very unjudgy. Well, except for sometimes about other people's children. Sometimes I'm finding... Yeah, but never mind.
You wait till yours gets older. It gets
worse.
I
know. I'm such a hypocrite. But yeah, look, I think about personal frailties. I think walk a mile in the shoes.
Yeah, that's a lesson. Walk a mile in the shoes. Well, Kate, thank you for just being so open, and you're just a real delight to talk to, and I've just really enjoyed our conversation. It's opened my eyes up, actually. Actually, your book has too. Opened my eyes up.
Don't get ideas.
And if I never was considering being a sex worker, I definitely don't want to be.
Okay.
And I never will try heroin. I still know that that's not for me.
That's all right. That's what other people do it for.
Yeah.
That's why we write the books.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Tara. Thank you.